Hello everyone, welcome back to Dear Esther. My name is tryinmorning, and I am back with my co-host,
MikeMoneyGMR.
And we're finally getting out of the cave, so... Looks like we'd either gone to the left or the right, but... I'm choosing the right. We got a candle on the way, so... maybe that's a good sign.
I wish I could have known Donnelly in this place. We would have had so much to debate. Did he paint these stones or did I? Who left the pots in the hut by the jetty? Who formed the museum under the sea? Who fell silently to his death into the frozen waters? Who erected this godforsaken aerial in the first place? Did this whole island rise to the surface of my stomach, forcing the gulls to take flight?
Okay. So... is he Donnelly?
No.
I don't know, it sounds almost like he has a split personality.
But he said he was arguing with Donnelly he wanted to argue with Donnelly about something.
But it almost sounds like he has a split personality, like Donnelly's another side of him, like he was arguing with himself over who did what. I don't know, I might be wrong there, but that just seemed weird.
Actually, that does sound pretty plausible, because like we've established, he's here by himself. He may have developed another personality.
But then he said that Donnelly wasn't here.
Yeah, because he said Donnelly got hit by a drunk driver at some point.
I don't know. I'm gonna go down here. Oh, okay. I want to see what this is over here. I don't know. It's still just so vague. I'm still not certain. Who was Donnelly? You know, what exactly happened to him? He was hit by a drunk driver, smashed to bits, but at the same time, it sounds like he was on this island, but he couldn't have died on this island. I don't know. Maybe the game will tell us in the end, but maybe it'll be left open for interpretation. I don't know how this game will be. I think those are just chalk markings. I'm not sure. I'm not gonna go all the way back to explore that.
Alright.
This looks much more intriguing. I don't know what this is exactly, but some kind of pathway. Marked by candles. Yeah, he mentioned the candles during the day, but you really didn't notice them. Now all of a sudden they're all lit up. But who lit them up?
Yeah, it's funny, because now that we've broken our flashlight, all the candles have been lit. It's like convenience.
We shall begin to assemble our own version of the North Shore. We will scrawl in dead languages and electrical diagrams and hide them away for future theologians to muse and mumble over. We will send a letter to Esther Donnelly and demand her answer. We will mix the paint with ashes and tarmac and the glow from our infections. We will paint a moon over the Sanford Junction and blue lights falling like stars along the hard shoulder.
Well, there we go. So, Donnelly is Esther's last name, so that's who he's been referring to.
Oh, okay.
So that makes sense. Esther, who he's talking to, is the dead person. And she's also
Yes.
Donnelly.
And at the beginning of the game, he was... well, it sounded as if he was sending her a letter. So... it could be more along the lines of that, still.
Yeah, very interesting. I'm not sure. I don't think they mentioned that before, that Donnelly and Esther are the same person. Because
No, they didn't.
in the beginning he said Esther, but he didn't say Esther Donnelly. I'm not sure if you're supposed to make that connection back in the beginning. So that then just confuses me even further. So Esther, or Donnelly, died in a car crash back in, the mainland of England. And then he came here. So then how was Esther here with him earlier? I don't know. Maybe Esther is just a part of him he still carries with him. And now another car door and some tires. Almost like a shrine.
I was gonna say, it looks kind of similar to the one we saw before in that canyon.
Yeah, I wonder if he just set up a whole bunch of them throughout the island like this, out of spare car parts. Some kind of reminder or monument to her.
Yeah?
There were chemical diagrams on the posters on the walls on the waiting room. It seemed appropriate at the time. Still life abstractions of the processes which had already begun to break down your nerves and your muscles in the next room. I crammed diazepam as I once crammed for chemistry examinations. I am revising my options for a long and happy life.
Okay. So
Well,
he
this
said,
says something.
well, he was saying that a lot of the stuff that they were writing are going to be in like broken languages and stuff. But it kind of looks like it says a light.
A light from the shore. No, a light from heaven shore.
Shown.
Oh, heaven shone. You're right. Around him. Who is him?
God. No.
In a twist, it was all done by God.
That's right. No, I'm sure they weren't trying to be religious when they made this game. One thing I've noticed is that if a game has any, like, reference to religion, it starts getting heavily critiqued. Like, there's this one game that apparently never made it here.
From here, I can see my armada. I collected all the letters I'd ever meant to send to you, if I'd have ever made it to the mainland, but had instead collected at the bottom of my rucksack, and I spread them out along the lost beach. Then I took each and every one, and I folded them into boats. I folded you into the creases, and then, as the sun was setting, I set the fleet to sail. Shattered into 21 pieces, I consigned you to the Atlantic, and I sat here until I'd watched all of you sink.
There we go. There are the pages right there.
Cool.
Or if you could move them around. Let's see. Nah, they don't do anything. Funny how they're just still floating out here. How long ago was this?
Dang, you made me forget what I was saying.
I don't know, we're just talking about how religion really doesn't work well in games most of the time.
That's right, because like there's this game called Terra Enigma, and when I was watching this guy called H.E. Bailey play it, and he was saying that one of the main reasons that they think that it didn't come here is because it openly used the word God throughout the entire game and stuff like that.
Oh, some eggs too. That's weird. Not really sure what this is supposed to be. What's the purpose of that?
To confuse the hell out of people.
Maybe. Well, it's working so far.
Hey, this looks familiar. Is this where we started?
Very similar, but no, that was near the lighthouse.
That's right, that's right. But this, like, ramp here kind of looks similar to that as well.
Yeah, they had a ramp by there, too. Yeah, I'm not sure, looks like this path is blocked off, but I could try to get over it. I don't think it goes anywhere, though.
No.
I'm not sure. Oh, there's stairs. Maybe I'll take the stairs up.
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
I'm wondering if we're supposed to get to that radio tower. Maybe that's the goal. It is shining in the light.
What would we do with a radio tower, though?
Don't ask me. I have no idea.
You're supposed to know these things.
Maybe we could send out a signal? I don't know.
With what?
The radio tower.
We don't have a transmitter.
Well, that's what we need the radio tower for. It'll broadcast for us. We just have to hook it up to something, and I don't know. We could
Do we
send
need
out
to
a
go
message.
all Tomb Raider on it, climb to the
A
very
sound of
top?
torn
Maybe.
metal, teeth running over the edge of the rocks, a moon that casts a signal. As I lay pinned beside you, the ticking of the cooling engine, and the calling from a great height, all my mind as a bypass.
Now it sounds as if he got hit by the car, too.
I guess he was in the car with her. They're going together and they got hit by a drunk. Or what if he was the drunk driver and she was the passenger and then she died?
Because of his drunk driving.
And maybe that's why he just exiled himself to an island. You know, that might be it right there.
Yeah.
That's
I
why
like the
he
sound of
like
that.
he looks down on himself and he doesn't care that he's dying right now.
Well, then, don't you think he would have said something like along the lines of, how do you say this? Like, it's a bitter end to a, like, bitter person or something like that. Or, like, a justifiable end or something like that.
I've begun my voyage in a paper boat without a bottom. I will fly to the moon in it. I've been folded along a crease in time, a weakness in the sheet of life. Now you've settled on the opposite side of the paper to me. I can see your traces in the ink that soaks through the fiber, the pulped vegetation. When we become waterlogged and the cage disintegrates, we will intermingle. When this paper aeroplane leaves the cliff edge and carves parallel vapor trails in the dark, we will come together.
Well, maybe they're waiting for the last moment to say that. At the end, he'll say that. Like you said it.
Didn't he say something about tossing himself off the cliff as well at some point?
Did he? He might have. Well, we
there
have
was, like,
fallen quite a
point-
bit already.
There was a point when he was talking about how he tossed something of, like, a memory of something off the cliff, like a book, and he was going to throw himself after it. But then he said he woke up back in his cabin, and the book was back on his table.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, he would toss himself out to sea. I think it was. More writing over here.
So he may have come here to commit suicide, maybe, but wanted to explore first.
Near to... What was that?
Yeah,
can't see that
help you
last
there.
Oh, it's Damascus again.
Oh, Damascus. Oh, okay.
I know, they keep on repeating that phrase in particular, but I don't know the significance.
If only Donnelly had experienced this, he would have realized he was his own shoreline, as am I. Just as I am becoming this island, so he became his syphilis, retreating into the burning synapses, the stones, the infection.
But I refer to Donnelly as a man. Maybe Donnelly was her brother? And there was another? I don't know. It's a bit
But then,
strange.
like, if that was the case, like, if it was her brother, why would, would his full name be Donnelly? Because you said that...
Well, I think he's referring to him by his last name. You know, you could call someone by their last name every now and then.
That's true.
And it could be that he's referring to himself as Donnelly.
Well, he did...
If
did
he was
ever
married to
refer
Esther.
Esther as his wife?
He didn't say who Esther was in relation to him, but I'm assuming they were some kind of a pairing. So it could be talking about himself, and he's schizophrenic to some degree.
Bent back like a nail, like a hangnail, like a drowning man clung onto the wheel, drunk and spiraled, washed onto the lost shore under a moon as fractured as a shattered wing. We cleave, we are flight and suspended, these wretched painkillers, this form inconstant. I will take flight. I will take flight.
Okay.
It sounds like he's playing a jump. Alright, what's in here? Nothing much. Oh, what's that? That's a huge drawing, whatever that one is.
Man, that dialogue box took a while to disappear.
Very true. Alright, and this one, it came to pass that as I made my journey... I'll have to get closer to see the rest of that.
Danger. Authorized personnel. Keep out.
We're not listening to you, son. As I made my journey, was that end was to me. Oh, it's hard to. Oh wow, I almost fell right there. I don't know. It's hard to read from this angle.
Yeah.
Is that Damascus again?
Yep.
Noon. I'm not sure what that one says. It's hard to read that. Suddenly, the from heaven. I don't know. It's hard to read this, and I think I'm gonna fall if I try too hard. Light round. Oh man. Couldn't you write this in a better location? About me.
There you go.
I would not see.
A gull perched on a spent bonnet, sideways, whilst the sirens fell through the middle distance and the metal moaned in grief about us. I'm about this night in walking, old bread and gull bones, old Donnelly at the bar gripping his drink, old Esther walking with our children, old Paul as ever, old Paul. He shakes and he shivers and he turns off his lights alone.
Well, this is starting to take a real dark turn, it seems.
Yeah. He's starting to lose his mind now at the end. Yeah, I'm sorry, folks. I have no idea what this says on the side here. It's just too much, and I can't read it all from so close.
Came into.
Yeah.
But, yeah, other than that, I'm not sure. I came into Damascus.
Or almost at the radio tower. Whatever's gonna happen here, we'll see soon enough.
He's gonna touch it, get radioactive poisoning, and die.
Well, that would be an unexpected twist.
I am the Ariel. In my passing, I will send news to each and every star.
Okay, maybe he thinks the radio tower is an aerial.
Dear Esther, I have burnt my belongings.
Oh, he's doing this on his own now.
This death certificate. Mine will be written all across this island. Who was Jakobsen? Who remembers him? Donnelly has written of him, but who was Donnelly? Who remembers him? I have painted, carved, hewn, scored into this space all that I could draw from him. There will be another to these shores to remember me. I will rise from the ocean like an island without bottom, come together like a stone, become an aerial, a beacon, that they will not forget you. We've always been drawn here. One day the gulls will return and nest in our bones and our history. I will look to my left and see Esther Donnelly flying beside me. I will look to my right and see Paul Jakobsen flying beside me. They will leave white lines carved into the air to reach the mainland, where help will be sent.
Wow.
You can see the lines now in the cliff.
Yeah. Oh shit, we missed the water.
Whoa.
I just saw the outline of a bird.
Yeah, it almost seems like he turned to a goal like he imagined he would.
Yeah,
You can see this shadow. I don't know, was he right? Did he transform like he thought? I don't know, it's all whatever you make it out to be, I guess.
Come back.
Alright, so there you go, Dear Esther. A very, artistic game, I guess you could say.
Where's the credits?
I'm not sure if we get any, actually. I guess it's just a black screen.
Huh. Okay.
Well, that was an interesting experience. Yeah,
Yeah.
very visual, I guess. There wasn't much to, see. I mean, there wasn't much to actually, do action-wise, but...
Yeah, like I was saying, there's not much to interact with, but the game does a great job keeping you interested because there's all these hidden corners and stuff that you can explore. Well, of course, if you go too far off the beaten path, you get...
Like that one ship, Michael. You couldn't see that one ship. We have to play this again, then.
Yeah.
Maybe next time. But no, anyway, yeah, you're right. There's a lot you could see. I'm pretty sure there might have been stuff we actually missed out on. I mean, for all I know, there could have been an alternate path you could take and you could have seen that ship, or maybe you could have went around and seen another part of the island. There are a few extra things that, we saw in the distance, but we didn't walk to because you had to go one way or the other. And I didn't know which way it would take you where.
Well, it did seem, though, at a point that it was kind of linear, though, at the same time, because, like I said, you would go one path, and eventually it would either turn around and take you back, or if you, fell in the water after a while, you would drown and get sent back. And, I mean, sure, there was stuff that you could go out of your way and explore, like the houses and stuff, but eventually it would take you back out and send you on the way you were supposed to go.
There wasn't, a lot of different things on the island, but what I did see I thought was pretty interesting. But I want to know more, who are those people? I'm still not sure. Who was Esther? Who was Donnelly? Were they the same person? Because he said Esther and he said Donnelly separately, but then there was Esther Donnelly. There was, what's his name? Jacobson.
Yeah, and the way they ended it, it seemed like they just kind of wanted, instead of explaining it, they left it for your interpretation, it seems. Because, I mean, throughout the entire thing, you keep hearing, oh, we got this guy named Donnelly who was on this island, but then we have this other person named Jackson, or I think that's what they said. And then at the beginning, he's writing letters to a person named Esther. And none of it really seems to tie together at any point.
Yeah, I mean, Esther ends up being dead at the end. She
Yeah.
died in the car crash, it seems.
And, that's the one thing he keeps bringing back up is, I was in a car wreck. Well, he doesn't say himself, but at the end, before you jump off the radio tower, he says that he remembers the crushing of metal and the crushing, of the car with Esther in the vehicle, but he doesn't really explain, you're playing as this character who never really says, I am so-and-so. He just spells it out as you go through as these characters, and it doesn't seem to change that until you get to the radio tower. Then he starts talking more, informative, but he still doesn't really explain anything to you for the most part.
Yeah, he doesn't really confirm it at the end, but my interpretation, I think that at the end, what we could gather from the facts is that he and Esther, and I'm not sure if Esther was also Donnelly. Esther Donnelly, made that was her last name. If she was in the car with him. He was driving, and I guess he might have been drunk at the time. At some point, they crashed the car, and he survived the crash, but she didn't. She died. And that is some way of moving on from this. He kind of views it from the third person. He views himself as somewhat separate from all the other stuff.
Yeah,
it's almost like he's completely detached.
Yeah, because he keeps talking about another person getting destroyed in the car wreck, too. I mean, assume, we know Esther got killed in a wreck too, but then he keeps talking about another person, the Dolly, I think she said, and he keeps talking about that person also getting killed in a car wreck, like getting hit by a drunk driver, not like as a pedestrian, not as a rider. And so it's kind of like he keeps adding people to it until the end, where he takes away those people and say, okay, it was just me, Esther, and the person that we wrecked into. So, yeah, it's all up to interpretation on who are these characters, like, are they still around? Does the person that you're controlling even exist? Or is it just a reenactment of, like, what he felt as he was exploring this island that may or may not even be real?
Yeah, I think by the end of the game, he's just like a shell of a person. He's not really himself anymore. It's like a ghost living on.
Yeah. Just trying to come to terms with everything.
An interesting game. I can't tell you one way or the other who's right. Maybe you'll have a different interpretation entirely from either of us. But, that was Dear Esther. Interesting game, and I'd like to give a special thanks to MikeMoneyGMR for being my co-host for this series.
Oh, no problem at all.
And you want to say anything else before we sign off?
No, I think we've pretty much covered everything that I wanted to speculate about the game.
All right, then. Then I would just like to thank you, the viewer, and I hope you enjoyed this series. Have a good day, and farewell.
Goodbye for now.